everybody. Welcome to the Ladies Meeting podcast. I'm online here with Maggie McKee. She is one of our Ladies Meeting members. And in fact, she was one of the first people when I said, hey, who wants to sign up as a member? That really made me know that I was doing the right thing. So thank you, Maggie, for your support. And it really did help launch the Ladies Meeting to be one of those first people to, like, you just put your money right in my hand and you committed right there. And
I did. I just love the work you're doing, Anissa. So that was not a hard move.
Thank you, but it meant a lot. It was kind of, sometimes when you start something and when someone commits to you, it just makes you feel like you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, as I always say, I'm always shocked when I get there and, the table slowly fills up. We almost always have 20 women minimum. And it's still every time just shocks me that everyone shows up, and it just keeps getting better and stronger. And it's really amazing. For anybody that doesn't know, we're talking about the Ladies Meeting, and we meet at the Sylvia Hotel on the last Tuesday of every month except December in Vancouver, British Columbia. If you want to find out more, you can look at our website, which is theladiesmeeting.com. And if you use the hashtag The Ladies Meeting on Facebook, you will probably find us very easily. It's also our domain on Facebook. And if you're looking on Twitter, it's actually My Ladies Meeting because it's one letter too long. So I wanted to introduce Maggie because she's going to be our speaker this month for the end of May at the Ladies Meeting. We always have someone, one of our members, speak to the group while we're having lunch. And I love your topic, and I love all the energy that you bring to the group. And I want to thank you for being one of my mentors, because I think we always need women to look up to as far as their energy, their passion for life, and that they're going in the direction that we want to be when we get to certain places in our life. And you just motivate me every time. So you could tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are. That would be great.
Sure, Anissa, thanks. Well, I think one of the biggest blessings I've had in my life is to have grown up on a farm in Ontario, and it was a full-time farm. My father worked from home and my mom worked from home. So I had that model of being an entrepreneur, and, just the energy of farming and the whole sense of community. Sure, we had challenges and all the things that go along with trying to grow up, but I thought I was smarter and better than everybody, and I went off to university. First one in the family ever. And I was the youngest in my family. So that was, to me, a really big thing. And so I pursued education for many, many years and many, many degrees. And
what avenues did you pursue?
Well, interestingly enough, my degree is in French and Spanish, because I love languages. I love English as well. So I've studied many languages, and French, of course, is very sought after in Canada for a lot of things. So I ended up, I didn't know what to do. I really wanted to be a simultaneous translator at the United Nations, but my parents just didn't have the money to send me to Switzerland for a year of university there. So I ended up doing what a lot of people do. I became a teacher. So I taught high school for about 15 years, and then I moved to the college level, level. And yeah, exactly. And I had a very interesting career as a professor. I had tenure, I could develop courses, and I like that creativity, because I'm not, as you may know, Anissa, from knowing me, I'm not much of an in-the-box person.
No,
so
I don't think you know what boxes are.
I had the pleasure of working with a really creative director in my department, and he got the funding for me, and we developed programs for the community, because I said, we need to serve the community better. It was a time, I was in Prince George, it was a time when logging was really, in big trouble. And a lot of kids who started in the mills when they were 15 were now out of work, and they had no idea what to do. So we developed programs to help them get a sense of who they are and where they could go from there. And then I had a lot of fun, because I developed programs for what, we loosely call the marginalized. So the first group was 16 recovering alcoholics and addicts, right?
Oh, wow.
And they were the best, I've had this strong belief for a long time that addiction is just a spiritual emergency. that people who have addictions are, they're looking for something, and the world is too much with them. So, an addiction, and it's not just drugs and alcohol. We all have addictions because we're not really getting the fulfillment, I think, that we know in our soul we deserve. So that was a really fun thing. And then I worked with women who had been abused, who'd never worked outside the home, single moms, pretty much generational, welfare people. And it was so rewarding. It really was, Anissa. But the thing that was really sticking in my craw, the more I was in the whole educational field, was change is almost impossible at anything other than just like developing those few programs. And I got so tired of the politics. The number of times I was called on the carpet for doing somebody else's job because unions are really strong. And
I work with union drivers.
Yeah.
And I get it.
So I said to the president of the college one day, because he had pulled me on the carpet, or somebody had reported I was doing somebody else's job. And I said, remember, Terry, we developed the philosophy of this college, and it's to serve the students. I was doing that. So if you want to fire me, go ahead. So that's the kind of attitude I had, right? A bit cheeky. Anyway.
I think you might have been a shit disturber.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in I always say I grew up as an entrepreneur because I grew up on a farm. Now I'm an entrepreneur. So how did I get out? How did I get out of that box? That political. To me, it's just makes so much sense. We're conditioned in our society to go to school, get a good job, quote unquote, work for somebody else for the rest of your life until you're retired, and then they don't tell you what that piece is about.
That's a huge missing piece. That's actually one of the reasons I started the ladies' meeting, believe it or not.
Exactly. So, I mean, I didn't even hear the word entrepreneur until not that long ago, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So, and I'm old enough to say not that long ago, 25 years ago. So you got that, did you?
25 years. My kids are going to be 22 and 24 this year, and I'm still going like, what happened?
I know. It really does amaze me every day. I wake up and I go, what day is it, first of all? And then, how old am I?
Well, and I think you made a really good point. We don't think about what happens after we finished our jobs. And one of the reasons I started the ladies' meeting as my personal story is my parents made no plan for retirement, what are you going to do when you turn 60, 65? And so part of just one little piece of the ladies' meeting is I've built this group that I'm going to be meeting at the Sylvia Hotel for the next 20 years. Like that's part of my retirement plan because I know that I want to always be learning and growing and meeting amazing people because I know that that's going to keep me sharp.
Yeah.
And people are going to come and ask questions, and we're going to have to find answers, and we're going to have people that want to present and they want to sell or they want to grow in a certain direction. And I want to be part of that, and it's going to be exciting.
Exactly. And if you were to ask people, if we were to ask the ladies' meeting, for instance, how many of you here want to be happy? Everybody put their hand up. How many of you want to be healthy? Everybody put their hand up. How many of you want to be wealthy? Everybody would put their hand up, right? And that's universal. It's not, that group is a bit unusual because they're way more evolved than most groups. That's the universal desire, but the reality is people are not healthy. They're not wealthy, and generally they're not happy. And if you trace it back, it really is, to me, it's all about how we've been conditioned to be human doings rather than human beings, for one thing, and how we've been conditioned that, nobody gets wealthy unless they're a sleazebag or something, so we have all these messages, as you know, about wealth. And, we're trained to be little soldiers. We're trained to go to school and work for somebody else so that we keep the machine going. And we're also trained to think that happiness is, most people don't have it, right? Even though we want it. So we live in this paradox of we want it, but we don't have it. We don't know why we don't have it, but we have to change our thinking. In order to change our path, we have to change our thinking, right?
Well, so I think part of that is we haven't been trained to literally listen to the physical feeling of our gut and our heart to know what feels good and what is happy and what helps us thrive. And that's something, I'm turning 47 this year, and I'm still just discovering, even though I knew what made me happy, I'm only discovering now that what makes me happy can also be part of my own personal financial success as well. And a lot of people don't know how to piece that together.
And you're right.
it's a huge challenge. And so like when I talk to my son, for example, he's turning 22 this year. I'm like, hey, are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
But no, people don't say to 22, 23, it's like, oh, you finished school. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you making some money? How's it going? It's not. So what's your happiness level? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like nobody talks about that at that age. We're not conditioned to
We have
think
to
about it.
change that, because we ask even little children, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than how do you want to be? What's the feeling you want to have when you grow
Mm-hmm.
up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kids know that that's sort of conditioned out of us. So
Mm-hmm.
if we had more of a focus on success is not money, money is a part of it because it's important,
Mm-hmm.
but if we had an emphasis on success being the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, whatever that is for you,
Mm-hmm.
and we encompassed what our company calls the 5 pillars of health. You have a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. That's pretty much, to me, the definition of success and happiness,
It's
right?
awesome.
So
Absolutely.
how did I get out of the trap, the job trap, into the entrepreneurial, world of excitement and creation? Well, it came through pain, as happens for a lot of people. We have conditions in our life that um, just become insurmountable. I'd had 30 years of chronic pain. So I'd been looking for a solution for a long time. I'd had major surgery that was, it was brutal and it was awful and the recovery was terrible, and it solved part of the problem, but it didn't get rid of the pain. I'd been prescribed medication. I don't do medication, so that was not a viable option for me. So I had put the word out to the universe and to all my friends, if you find something that's a natural solution, please let me know. So in 1995, my closest friend, who was a healthcare professional at Children's Hospital here in Vancouver, I still was living up north, phoned me and she says, I think I found what you're looking for. And I thought, well, what am I looking for? I'd forgotten the question, right? I said, what are you talking about? She said, there's a Japanese company it's a research company, and it's created technologies that help your body heal itself. She said, I had 8 years of chronic pain, and in a week it was 80% gone. I think this might be a solution for you.
Hmm.
I said, I'm on it. I flew down to Vancouver. And we didn't have a lot of technologies in 1995 compared to what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But we had enough that I knew this was the solution, because it took me, again, back to my roots on the farm. The place we all feel the best is in nature. You know that, living in Whistler, right? I mean, we need to be out there in the trees and the sunshine and the water, the sound of the water, and the beautiful, air that's filled with that energy that you get in the mountains, right?
Forest bathing is what we call it.
Well,
There's a
yeah,
Japanese name for it. I forget what it is, but
called
it's
Shinrin Roku.
there you go.
And we have an air unit that does create forest air breathing. So this company has just created a way for us to turn our homes into natural environments. And people always say, well, is that feng shui? No, I mean, feng shui is great, but that's not what this is. This is technology
It's science.
that mimics nature. Yes, it's science based on nature. So if you just look at what makes us healthy, right? What are the things that are absolutely essential to health? What would you say if I asked you that question? What do we need?
Fresh air, fresh water.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. We need sleep, right?
oh yeah, we
We
do.
need we need good organic nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
We need the proper light, the energy from the sun, right?
I'm growing. I don't know if you can see here. I'm growing my first little sweet baby potatoes.
Oh my God!
These
Look
are
at them, aren't they cute?
Well, and I grew them off of this crazy, these will be as organic as you'll ever see. This is actually my potato plant that these were growing off of, and now
Right.
they're sprouted. So
Well, that's
eventually
brilliant.
these will be the little baby potatoes. So food is everything. And if you can grow it yourself, it'd
Yep.
be amazing.
There's that saying, let your food be your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And let your medicine be your food. So we know that now. And we didn't used to know that. We got caught in this allopathic trap when Western medicine took over, basically. And prescriptions and surgery were the things that doctors were and still are trained in. So, and they're good at that, but that does almost nothing for chronic illness.
No.
If we get hit by a bus, no slam on you and the bus company, but
Oh
if we
no, I
get
have a
hit by
very good friend, Teresa Lorico. I was just talking to her yesterday, and she's just hit her 1 year of death date. She got hit by a bus 1 year ago, and they brought a body bag, not an yeah, she was supposed to die, and she's survived in 1 year. So being hit by a bus, it definitely stops you in your tracks. But man, I'm so proud of her for all the healing she's done.
And it was great that there was a hospital close by, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But she's also, I am very sure, looking at it, she probably does a lot of natural stuff as well. She's very connected to many healing type people.
Yeah, because there's only so much that drugs and surgery can do for us. It can certainly, put us on a path. But we must take seriously the need to look after ourselves, self-care, both in health and in finances, because who's going to do it for us? We've kind of given our power away, Anissa. I remember
because I've committed to doing this, as you've probably seen, this 30-day money challenge of just watching my money every day for 30 days. And it seems so simple just to track what you're spending, but it's just that conscious thing that it literally slips through your hands so quickly. It's amazing. But it's about being conscious of it, just like your health. Like, I started biking to work every day, and people are starting to notice this difference, right? And all it is an extra, it's actually saving me time biking to work, because I'm on the other side of the village from work. So I would have to take 2 buses to get where I want to go. And it takes me 15 minutes now, which took me half an hour 45 days ago. I can now do in 15 minutes. But the health benefits of just adding that tiny, really very little exercise on each side of my day are life-changing.
Right. And little things done consistently over time create a great result. It's an exponential result as it builds. And that can be for negative habits as well as positive habits, right? So
that glass of wine at the end of the day, and that's the one thing I see creeps up on you really quickly, is you start having a glass of wine every day, and then it becomes a habit. And I love a great glass of wine, but I'll find myself, it almost becomes like a 21-day habit, and then it's like, oh, okay, gotta stop. It's so easy. So yeah,
we slide into those habits because they're relaxing, right? Whatever, and easy. We get in that comfort zone and we just want to settle in and set up camp, right? So I am an absolute, what would I call myself? I'm pretty fierce about looking for people who want to make changes by looking after themselves in their health and their wealth. But I'm not ever in the business of convincing people, because that never works anyway.
No.
The world is waking up. So I'm really excited to be where I am with 23 years experience with this company, helping people create wellness home environments and wellness office environments, because it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it's changing lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was reading, I'm reading Goddesses Never Age, and one of the things that she mentions in there, as far as a healthy day in the office, is standing up 23 times. Like something so simple to add into your day. Like, for me, it's easy because I'm getting the door and I'm going up to the photocopier, and I'm, it's pretty simple. But I know there are days when all of a sudden it gets really quiet, that I'll sat there for 3 hours, and it's like, whoa, gotta move.
Our bodies are designed to move. Right? If we don't, they start to atrophy. So we don't want that to happen.
No.
So there's so many things that people can do to look after themselves, but there's a real gap in the education on what those things are. In North American society, I don't think it's as bad in Europe, but to not sleep very much is a badge of honor. It somehow says, look at me, I'm so important, I don't get enough time to sleep. And that's what I want to talk about at the meeting, is because, there's a lot of research, and even more now, on sleep, and the biggest determinant of longevity above heredity and everything else is sleep.
And is it, I've been listening to, because Arianna Huffington has really brought this to the forefront as well. And is it just length or quality as well?
It's quality. And, it's not being unconscious on a bed for a certain number of hours. It's getting into the cycles of sleep, which is, too scientific to go into, but each of those cycles is about 90 minutes. And in those cycles, your body, the brain wave changes, and you go into, when you get to the deep delta sleep, that's when the body repairs itself. And the REM sleep is when the mind repairs itself by categorizing and, letting go of stress and so on. So we have to have a certain number of those in a night to get a quality sleep. Most people's sleeping environments don't permit that. They've got noise waking them up. They get hot or they get cold. There are all kinds of things that interrupt quality sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping
Or
with their
cell
back
phones.
together.
I know I have
Yeah,
all my notifications turned off, but
yeah,
I use it often to get to sleep. Sorry, it's getting a little chilly here. I'm
yeah.
throwing on my
Well,
blanket.
that's one of the biggest interrupters of health, period,
Mm-hmm.
are the frequencies from computers, cell phones, even electricity. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a couple of demos at the meeting to show people how those things make your body stressed and unable to do its work.
Ooh, are you going to do muscle testing?
Yes, yes,
Oh, I'm so excited.
yes.
I'm actually, it's so funny. I couldn't believe my initial resistance to this, but I'm going away off grid for 2.5 days. And I'm so excited and so like, no cell phones. And I brought, I don't know if you remember when I did my little talk, I actually wrote my talk down in a book and I brought it out and said, I'm going to bring this book with me. She's like, well, she's like, yeah, where do you plug it in? It was a joke, but it's like, I'm bringing a notepad and a paper and I'm just going to write and I'll have
Yeah,
2 days with no interruptions and no Facebook and no,
yeah.
I'll record and post, or maybe I'll have to get somebody else to post more for those couple days, but
When are
just
you doing that, Anissa?
Friday we're going to leave after work and you actually have to take a boat to get to this cabin across Anderson Lake. So I'm really excited. Hope it all works out. But yeah, having that energy break, the
Mhm.
opposite, like get away from all this energy, the cell phone energy,
Yeah,
because we're so surrounded by it.
yeah.
I'm excited to see the muscle testing. I think it might just blow people's minds.
Well, I think, and people think, yeah, some people at least know about cell phones, but most people do not understand electricity and how it interrupts the body because it's not direct current, it's alternating current, and that just disrupts every cell of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And people usually sleep on beds that have coils in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Metal coils are a conductor of electricity. So you're lying on this bed, which probably isn't very comfortable for most people anyway. It's too hard or too soft or whatever. And you're being zapped by this electrical energy that your body is having to deal with as a stressor before it can deal with helping your body recover from the day and from any illness or any stress that you have, right?
Right.
So we're our own worst enemies, really. But
Mm.
it's about awareness, and then awareness, taking that awareness into action. So I'm hoping that at the end of the short time I have, people will make a commitment to change one thing. You can't expect people to change too many things if they just stop.
Yeah,
But if,
absolutely.
if they can just change one thing about where they put their cell phone when they go to bed, and
Uh-oh.
preferably put it into airplane mode. And
Yeah. Or in the past, I've actually, I have a Faraday cloth, which
uh-huh.
is it's basically a blanket that traps out things. Or you can buy little Faraday cages. Or one of the
Yep.
guys at work actually puts his cell phone into a plastic. You can buy these. It's a metal lined bag
Yeah.
that cuts off the energy that's being released as well.
Hmm.
Because when I was living in the city, I found I didn't really sleep for probably 6 or 8 months. I was so excited to move to Vancouver. I moved, of course, to Gastown. I was managing a building there. I don't think I slept for 6 or 8 months, and so I literally was using every tool to try and keep the cell phone thing. But I could feel that I'm super sensitive to all that, and maybe
Hmm.
that's one of the reasons I needed to move up here, because I
Yeah.
have the balance of being in the forest and finding that balancing energy,
Yeah.
even though I am on technology a lot because I teach
Yeah.
social media, I do social media, I'm on the computer constantly. So I think maybe this is where I need to be because I've got that balance.
Well, I see you're sitting on a wooden chair, as I am, which is
Yeah.
really good because most chairs have metal in them. Like my
Mhm.
chairs don't even have springs in the seat. They're a little hard on the butt, actually. And I also have Niken covers on them with the magnetic energy and the infrared energy and so on, because
Mhm.
that's also going to, it makes it softer, and it's also going to give me the right energy
Oh,
rather than the
excellent.
interruptive energy. So I'm going to bring a few things to demonstrate and have some fun with. And, just with the intention that maybe 10% of the people there or more will have some kind of aha that will help them to change a habit towards something healthier.
Well, I think there's a lot of us that live with chronic pain, and we get used to it.
Well, I was for 30 years.
So I think if you can assist somebody to just, even if you can turn that pain off just for a little bit, I know for me, the biking has helped with my
Yeah.
concussion to,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get some physical relaxation. So that certain bit of
Mhm.
exercise and stuff. But
Mhm.
once you get an off, then you know how to, you start working with the off instead of the constant pain.
Well, the thing I like about Nikan, the company I work with, is I didn't have to change anything. 30 years of chronic pain, 3 months living in a wellness home. It's been gone for 23 years. And I
Wow.
don't want it to come back, right?
And I don't know anyone, you're pretty darn active,
Yeah,
lady.
I am. I am.
And I'm hoping that oh gosh, what was her name? I'm gonna forget now. Chloe comes back because she teaches tango.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but the day, because I'm in the Goddesses Never Age, Dr. Christiane Northrup, she
Mm-hmm.
speaks. Oh, this is a fact that my concussion is but getting better, that I can actually recall these names. This is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. This is like, oh.
Yeah.
She talks about how she's converting her energy, like releasing a lot of her um, negative energy through tango, and she found healing through dance.
Yeah.
And I, I, which I just think is amazing. And I had mentioned it at the meeting, and then Chloe got up and said she was a dancer. And then I don't know if you were in the washroom afterwards. There was like 5 of us all hanging out in the bathroom, and I'm like, "Hey, can you teach tango?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And
I
so
heard you say that. Yeah.
I asked the guy at the bar as a joke. I'm like, "Hey, can we clear these out and do tango lessons here sometime?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem." But the kicker was, on my way back up Denman Street,
Mm-hmm.
there's a restaurant. It's a beef restaurant.
Hmm.
It's called Tango.
Really?
So it was kind of like, there's something in the air. And then, like I said to you, there's tango lessons for $19 for
Yeah.
5 lessons on Groupon. So I just feel like there's something. I think I'm going to learn to tango.
Yeah.
My original goal, though, was I have a friend that's in Spain quite often. And so the goal is to go to Spain, buy the flamenco dress and the shoes, and take lessons.
Good for you.
So I might have to take you along.
Yeah. Well, there's a club up on Main Street that my son took me to when I was visiting him here when I didn't live in Vancouver.
Mhm.
And they were doing tango and flamenco, and oh my God, it was just the energy of dance, that kind of dance particularly. It's so healing. You're right.
Mhm.
So
Well, and
healing.
that's I know that you have to do it to teach. I believe sometimes you have to do things to teach to other people, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that can help me release some of my childhood. You know, we all
Yeah.
have childhood stuff stuffed in the closet, and I think if that is a way that you can heal, that's active, consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think it covers it checks all the boxes,
It
right? It's
does.
social. As we're getting older, we need to really practice being social. It's healthy, it's active, it just it just checks all the boxes that I want to do as I
Absolutely.
age, for
And
sure.
music's the other thing for me because I'm a musician, and I told you I'm in a band called Counting Chickens, the Potley crew.
I can't wait till we can come watch you play.
Well, we're actually going to be doing a benefit out in White Rock for the Gordon Downey Foundation for the Aboriginal family that he did the documentary about.
Oh, awesome. Are you going to be at the what's the Blue Frog Studios, or?
No, we're going to be at a private residence called Dancing Furs. It's a certified Nikan wellness bed and breakfast right on the cliff.
Oh.
On Cherry Road. It's just absolutely amazing. So they've asked our band to play, and I said, you must tell people that we're really sort of between a basement band moving up to the garage level, you know. And our tagline is anybody can play with accuracy. We play with style. We have so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
We make lots of mistakes, but we just have an energy and fun. So
Yeah.
everybody was here at my place last Saturday night, because I have a soundproofed apartment.
Oh,
And
sweet.
and so we played from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. nonstop. And then
Wow.
we just, and three or
Well,
four
if
of
you
us
once
talking.
I get my car back on the road, if you ever short a tambourine, give me a call. I have a
Yeah,
tambourine.
absolutely.
I'm still working on the cello thing. My goal was to have something done by May, but I've had some other goals kind of push it out of the way for now. But I'm still paying off the cello, so I know that I will learn to play it.
Wow. Well, you know that Stacy is an accomplished cellist.
Yes, and violinist as
Violinist.
well.
I
So
guess more violin than cello, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she has a violin. She doesn't have a cello anymore. So
She actually played with our band when we
oh,
did a NECAN event a couple of years ago.
oh, that's
I just invite
awesome.
anybody from the audience who, who played music or sang, to come up and help us. And I told her ahead of time, would you bring your violin? And she said yes. So that was
Oh,
fun.
that's exciting. Well, I am looking forward to seeing you on what is is it the 20th? I didn't check the date. What is May
Yeah.
20? What is the last day of the
9th, I think. Isn't it?
no, last Tuesday of May is yes, the 29th. Absolutely. And I see I'm starting to get an unstable internet connection being out on the deck. So if you would like to come and see Maggie speak, you're welcome to come as a guest. You don't have to be a member. You can go to theladiesmeeting.com or you can find us on Facebook. Our events are listed under live events. I'm actually doing a 30-day money challenge as well. If you're on our Facebook page, you'll find me there every day. Made me realize I think I need to find some guest people for the weekend. I'm going to be away, so that'll be kind of fun. And I will see you on Tuesday, and I'm going to stop this recording. Bye. This podcast has been produced by the Communication Studio and Anissa Carruthers at the Studio C. If you'd like to find out more about the Ladies Meeting, please join us online at theladiesmeeting.com. Under our live events page, you'll find our luncheons on the last Tuesday of every month except December, retreats, and our foundation courses you can take online, and we'll have them live and in person as well. And we look forward to seeing you.